body from DP. Like they said that you dues are like $40 a month or something.
No, DP's dues, okay, let's get this straight. Your dues will not be affected. No one will. Any group that we bring in, no. DP pays more because there's only 200 members,
Okay.
and we had to go to arbitration. We had to do it, that's why.
Okay.
And they didn't do it with our approval. They approved it. So don't think that we just raised it arbitrarily.
Yeah, no, that's
no. They voted on it because we had to go to arbitration.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So with 5,000 people, we're not touching your dues. We don't need to. There's no reason for that. With 5,000 people, your dues coming in should be sufficient to get things done. Okay? And your benefits have nothing to do with your dues.
Oh yeah, I know that.
So no, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah, that no.
Your money comes from the city of New York. Okay? Every single one of you here is worth $1,640 to over 237. That's all you are to them. Okay? You're just money. All right? When you leave that union and you go to this union, your money comes with you. That's why he's fighting hard to keep you. That's why he tells you you're going to lose this and you're going to lose that, and that's not true. All right? Your annuity fund, now that's a different question. And I'll be honest with you, we're going to have a fight. Two reasons. One, you guys can't even get a true account of your own annuity fund. So what happens is if there's a decertification process, what happens is when it's done, forensic audit comes in, and they're going to have to open up their books, and then they're going to have to reveal exactly where every single dime came in and where it went. And that's another reason why. And I tell you what, I talked to so many people in Local 237. You get $87 a month, 13 times a year, because of the way the days flow. So that's $1,144 around there. So basically, you can add for yourself every year on the job. You should be accumulating $1,000 into your annuity fund. But we've been hearing so many people who got years on the job, the money's not matching the years on the job. That's if you just stuck it in a bank. I'm not talking about in an interest-bearing account. Okay, and on here you'll see annuity fund. I got a bigger piece of paper you can blow up, but the one here, the guy started 4 years ago in '09, and you can see 4,000 and some changes been put into his annuity fund. It tells you exactly what's contributed. That's a quarterly statement, and you see he has well over $7,000 already. That's when you put it in an interest-bearing account. It also tells you on the back of that, which is not there, because I'm going to have to give you the bigger one that we have. And it tells you exactly where your money is. I'm not talking about in Local 237's welfare fund. I'm talking about where it's physically sitting at. Is it in stocks? Is it in bonds? Is it with Oppenheimer? Is it with Painweber? Is it with whoever? But you know that's where your money is. Because if I told you it was sitting in leeba's annuity fund, that could be a bank account, actually. That could be a bank account sitting somewhere drawing interest. Okay? So everything you see here is we give everything. Our life insurance policy is 50 grand. Theirs is, actually this is the first time you actually have a life insurance policy. Because you never had to sign papers for a beneficiary, right? For your life insurance policy?
Yeah, I did.
That was for the job, that green.
No, not the job. I'm talking about from the union.
Yeah, I did.
He's DHS.
Yeah, when I got the new beneficiary pack, the new
one now.
The new one I got now.
No, that one you had to, because they actually said it. You were colonial. But before that, there was no insurance policy.
Yeah, my daughter, they asked for my daughter's beneficiary information.
Not nice as now. We're talking about.
No, I told you,
Okay.
they asked me for.
Well, just so you know, you might run into another problem here.
Yeah.
We talked to CUNY, of course, because they're in decertification mode too.
Yeah.
One of the guys called and said, I haven't received my dental stuff yet. So the union told the guy on the phone, you have to call Health Plus to take care of that. Oh, shoot. So what happens here is, and I'm going to tell you, if that is true, we've had a couple of phone calls. It's called a transition period. If you guys come over to leeba, we have to physically come out to every single location. You know how it works. Sign you all up, get all your information, so the transition period runs smoothly. We come to you. We're not going to tell you to call the company and take care of this. That's not how it works, because that's how mistakes happen. Because you're not going to know what to do. They're going to ask for your dependents, birth certificates, all this other stuff. We do that. And now you're transferring over to HealthPlex. That's going to be your new dental, which is $2,500 cap. Leba's Dental is with Aetna, which is unlimited. So we have a PPO for anybody who happens to live outside of the city. You live in Long Island or you live upstate and you happen to want to go to your local dentist, you can go into the PPO part of it, which is only $2,000 cap. But what happens is after you use up that $2,000, within 30 days you can switch back over to DMO and you'll still have unlimited. So you continue to get the best of both worlds. If you stay with your PPO, you may only go to visit to the dentist once, but you can go right around the block. But if you need a lot of work and you're gonna need $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 worth of work, every 30 days, not every year. Like some companies, you gotta sign up for the year. Ours is every 30 days. So, and as far as your medical is concerned, because we have questions about that, don't worry about that, your medical stays the same. That's through night caps.
I know that.
So, no, you'd be surprised, a lot of people have called worried that they're gonna lose their medical. Because they don't know. They don't know how unions are run. And the same thing, like you can see here, I'm gonna show you a paper there. He told you, Gregory Floyd, Will Oak 237, told you, we have no welfare fund, we have no retirement fund, we have no union fund. Outright lie. Okay, every union, you have to. Before they send you money, you have to have what they call a welfare agreement, and the refund agreement, and retirement. So, for them to tell you that, it's a lie. All right, I know you've been inundated and harassed with business agents. Listen, they get paid $85,000 a year. Who do you think they get paid by? Okay, and anything they tell them to do, because if you leave, they have no job. Okay, they make $85,000 a year, expenses, and a car. And they go around and tell you that you shouldn't better your life. But the problem that we're having, and I'm gonna be honest with you, is it's you. You have to be ready for this. We talked to one officer, and she came out and said, well, we're going to have to wait a year or two before we get a contract, and we're going to have to fight. Yeah. If you're not ready to fight, don't sign. No, and I mean it. We're not here to tell you, oh, you got to do this. No. If you're not ready for this fight, don't get on board, because it's going to be a fight. But you got to look back at all the other groups, sanitation, correction. At some point, they said we had enough, and we're going to go fight and get what we want. And until you're ready to do that, it's not going to happen. All you have to do is go online, even people who are scared to physically grab a card from somebody. We've set it up where you can go on our website and sign your name. There's 5,000 of you. All we need is 1,500 cards. We should have been had it if everybody really wants to get out. And Local 237 knows that. You don't think they don't know you? They know exactly what kind of members they have. And the only reason why I say that is because they lied to you. And I asked one officer the other day, she goes, well, that's my union. I'm supposed to believe them. Really? No. I mean, listen, I've talked to as many officers as you would not believe as many officers. I've been to almost every location. And Gregory knows his members. He knows all he has to do is tell you something and you're not going to believe it. If he tell you the sky is green, you're all going to run outside, oh, the sky is green. And it's not funny, but it's the truth. These people are just, and they're not going to tell you the truth because, and all through this campaign, even though you haven't had it physically, maybe one time, like we went to DHS. Now, as I was standing there, one of their 3 NYPD people they hired showed up. So we left the room. We went in the back room. They left the room from him too. Because all they do is bash leeba. They don't talk to you about the things that they're going to do for you because they're not. And they don't tell you about the things that they've done for you because they haven't done anything for you.
And they won't put it in writing either.
And they've never put out any literature about what they're going to do. Let's take your current contract. You know what this getting? UFT just ratified? That's what you're going to get.
What's up?
That's it.
What's up,
He didn't come and ask you what you needed. Because he doesn't care.
Webster and something.
Well, you know what? Listen.
Webster.
Peanuts, and I'll tell you why it's peanuts. If you're making good money, that contract is not peanuts.
Anybody know the cross streets are here?
Fulton, F-U-L.
182nd and Poland.
Fulton,
Thank
there you go.
182nd and Polish.
To people who are making money, that's 10.5% over the next 8 years. If you're not making money, it sucks. Okay? We've had DHS call us with numerous emails and stuff. I understand what's going on. Like DHS, you'll have the same problem. Come in, you don't get paid for your lunch hour. But yet still they call you on your lunch hour. They expect you to work. If they expect you and they can call you up for lunch, then you should get paid just like a cop. Okay? But they're not going to fight. Let me tell you something. You have to understand the city of New York. If the union is not making them or not asking them, the city's not going to give you nothing. Okay? And they're all in collusion. And I say this, honestly, I know it's for a fact. The election that's coming up now for the 919 people we just told you about, how come the city of New York is filing an appeal to stop that election? Because they know that leeba is going to fight for the things that they need, and they know Local 237 is not. I got it in black and white. The city actually says leeba should not have this group because leaba's collective bargaining goals differ from Local 237. Now let me ask you this. How do you know, how does the city know what Local 237's goals are? Unless they're talking to them. And y'all got to think about this. 30 years, 1998 yo was formed. Going on close to 30 years. Not once, has your union even attempted, I'm not saying got, attempted to get you the things you need to do your job. None of y'all are equipped to do your job. I can tell you that right now. I've talked to every agency. They drop the ball everywhere. Training, line of duty, hazard pay, the hat bill, all of this. I mean, DHS doesn't even have a shower facility. They work doubles and they can't even take a shower before they go home.
Well, what happened that way is because the facilities that we work in is depending on the facility to provide that for us. Like, I'll give you an example, is you can ask for certain things in the facility. I've been at Wards Island now for 4 years, and they moved our office maybe 5 times, and we still in the same locker room, and we asked for a better locker, better facility, but they don't have the area to provide us for it. There's, on the Charles Gate, and you go to different locations, there's no location where they can provide us a shower or the needs that we need.
Okay, but let me tell you, that's why you got PESH. That's why you have OSHA. You make your complaints. Just because they tell you they don't have it, they got to make it for you. They have to provide you with certain things while you're at work. But the fact is, you have to try for it. I guarantee some of them buildings, one officer called us up and said, I swear there's asbestos in this building. And it probably is. You know what? We'll do it. We did it for DP. They all got new locations. But one of the locations, we hired an outside independent to come in and see if there was anything wrong. Thank God it wasn't. But you know what? We checked. That's all you have to do is check. The buildings are old, but you're supposed to have a facility, especially for police officers. All law enforcement. NYPD has showers. They have separate. It's not unisex. It's a woman's bathroom and a male's bathroom. That's just common sense. But they don't do it because why should they? And that's the agency's fault too. I agree with you. But whose problem is it to tell the agency what to do? That's the union. The union has to fight 2 people. City of New York, when it comes to your money, your raises, and whatever they are. But as far as your working conditions and how they treat you, you got to deal with the agency. It's the agency that says, every agency, no, don't give them guns. Well, of course the agency's going to tell them don't give them guns because once you give somebody a gun, guess what? Liability. So what? There's 30,000 cops walking around with a gun. It is what it is, And the conditions y'all work under, some locations need it, just like for CUNY. BCC, right outside Bronx Marine, at nighttime, all they hear is gunshots. They're at a post by themselves. But in the end, we're just trying to give you guys an opportunity to better yourself. Now, all you hear is smear campaigns. I answer all the questions. They told you I lost my gun. They told you I'm crazy. Everybody in life has a defining moment where I'm not going to say grow up, but, when I was a trooper, hey, everything was cool. Until state police didn't like it because I used to protect people and stand up for people. So all of a sudden I became the biggest drug dealer on Northeast, murdered 5 people, And you get all this stuff in the pamphlets they send you, but Local 237 sends you excerpts. You can go online, the whole lawsuit's there, read it. And that's what I learned, and let me tell you, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Because my union came to me and said, the job came to me and said, stay out of the way, they got you cold. And what did my union do? Step to the side and didn't protect me. So I had to go out and get my own lawyer, and I won. I beat all the charges. I retired with a disability. Actually, I beat them so bad that I went out on stress, and the state police never sent me to a doctor. I'm the only trooper in the history of New York to go out and get a 3/4 pension, tax-free, And they never sent me to a doctor to say whether I was lying or not. That's how bad they wanted me off the job. They just didn't want me there no more. But that's how I learned how to fight. You know, we all have to, everybody has to hit a point where you say not enough. And some people on this job, you gotta understand, some of y'all here may want it and know it, but you got a lot of young kids that's coming on this job, never been in the union, never been on a job, and they don't care. And they don't realize how bad it is 10 years from now, they're still making the same amount of money and they can't pay their bills. You know, or somebody's hurt or whatever, you know? But just for that, just for all the stuff that's going on, you could go Google me. It's public information. I'm not trying to hide nothing. You can read the whole lawsuit entirely. Just like you say, I lost my gun, I lose my gun. I was on my way to California, a couple other troopers, my gun got stolen. You know, but somebody, and that's what I'm saying about Local 237, they will always continue to give you excerpts and will continue to lie to you. Like the stuff that I'm telling you about unions, you can ask some people here today, the unions don't tell you that. They don't want to tell you that. Okay? Out of $1,640 times 20,000 people, that's $33 million a year he gets to provide you with benefits. But yet still he can't give you a $50,000 life insurance policy? I'm doing it. I got 200 members I'm doing it. I'm giving Aetna. He's not giving Aetna. Now he just switched you over to HealthPlex, and now he's telling everybody you got to go do your paperwork on your own because he doesn't want to do a transition for 20,000 people because that's what he has to do. He has to contact housing, he has to contact CUNY, everybody in Local 237 he would have to contact and do the information. All right, he's had meet and greets for you guys, but you have to come down to his building. Okay, they talked about we don't have an office. No, we don't have an office in the city and we're not getting one until we have the members. But you know what, if you go back to office, they've had that big building there for years. What has that building done for you guys? It ain't gave you a raise, it ain't gave you what you needed. You know, and he won't even take you to arbitration. How come he didn't take you to arbitration? You've been put into your own bargaining unit. But he's not going to do that. You see, if he takes you, he has to take everybody else. And the reason why I say there's a collusion is because that's what the city said. The city said if we have you and we have different bargaining goals, it will cause litigation. And what they mean is, say we get you out, and we get you, and I know we will, take you full arbitrator, we will get you most of the things that you want. Not gonna be overnight, for every contract you'll get more and more, just like corrections did, and just like sanitation. But once you get that, all the other unions that's not doing nothing, what do you think they're gonna start saying? Traffic's gonna be like, hey, how come they got a lot to do? How come they got, and now they're gonna be going, now the city's gonna be like, no, we gotta give it, and that's the problem here. If you notice, every special patrol here in the city, none of them have line to do. No one's asked for it. No one's fighting for it. Why not? You would think somebody would say, hey, you know, when I walk outside in this uniform and a perp's running down the street, he's not going to slow down to see this says school safety on it or whatever. He's going to see a uniform and he's going to do what he has to do to me. And you're more apt to get hurt than a cop. You have no gun. He sees no gun. What threat are you to me? You know? Your uniform allowance. They want you to, they only give you a certain amount for your uniform allowance, but you make less than NYPD, which means it's hurting you more to buy your uniform. These are the things that you go to arbitrator and you fight for it. But the thing is, you gotta fight. And the thing is, I'm saying is, you gotta talk to your own members. Some of them don't know. You know the 80-20 rule? I'm telling you. For this to happen, 20% of y'all are gonna have to take the lead and get everybody to follow. And that's what Greg plays on. Because there's so many of you, and you're separated, and we've been going to the schools. He figures you will never come together to make this work. That's why he doesn't have to bother about doing anything. He's using you against your own self. But at the end of the day, this is what I always say. You know, a lot of people tell you, well, this is how I live my life, this is what I do. Everybody tells you that. This is how I am. So what I say to people like that is, how's that working out for you? Because I had a friend, well, this is how I do things, this is how I live my life. His life's in shit. And I said, well, how's it working out for you? And no, seriously, if it's not working out for you, then you need to make a change. You know, or stop complaining about your union and embrace them. And let me tell you, y'all have no idea, let me tell you something. You think they're gonna be nice to you when Leeba walks out the door? Let me tell you something. The only reason why you see them now is because of Leeba. Only reason why. We've gone to DH locations, Local 237 has never set foot up in there. Since we come around, they're there every roll call, 5 o'clock in the morning. For what? For what now? What? I mean, think about it. Because if somebody came to my house after 10 years and now because they know I'm about to go somewhere, get something, they want something, I slam them in their face. But that's what the members have to do here. And that's why we come out on a Saturday, you'll call a meeting, we come, we go to the schools. Thank you for posting this. The hits we're having were a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, big time. And they didn't like it.
Right.
You know, just like now, they just filed improper practice against us to keep filing petitions. Okay? They tell you you can't come out, you can't come out. Unfortunately, you guys will get this contract. Okay? And that's because when we tried last time to get you out before your contract ended, no one wanted to listen. But the thing is, you can't come out, and you don't have to wait until 2018. After Grace signs the MOA, we have 30 days to get you out. That's it. Once that window's closed, you're locked into this contract until 2018. You will not see us until 2018. And let me tell you something, what they're going to do to you from now until 2018.
They're going to screw us.
And that's what they're going to do. And let me tell you something, I don't care what they tell you. I went to TLC 6 years ago. They came around, oh, we're going to take care of you, TLC, we're going to do this stuff for you. After the city stalled it, they went away.
Okay.
All right? But Greg, he just filed an improper practice because he's saying that we're wrong by keep filing these petitions. Well, there's nothing in the rules that says that a union has to tell you when the MOA is signed. So that's why when y'all get a contract, you'll be like, this is 2 months later. He can sit on it. He can sit on it for 2 months before he lets you know that he's come to a deal with the city. That's why I'm telling you how unions work. When your president goes down to negotiate, now I don't understand, I don't know how he is because I can't talk for that because DP actually negotiates their own contract. I don't wait for UFT, I don't wait for DC 37 to go do anything and then they call me and they go, okay, this is what you're gonna get. I go down first, like DP. We go back July 7th, we're not going with nobody. We're going with ourselves. And I can say no, I don't want what you're giving me, or I can say yes. Or I can say we're going to arbitration like we did, we'll do it again. Does it take time? Is it costly? Yeah. But it won't cost you nothing. He has the money. Let me tell you something, with 200 members, I was able to get a contract, I broke pattern. And if y'all know how important that is, it hasn't been done in 65 years. DEP went from civilian pattern to uniform pattern. Okay? And we're gonna do the same thing for you guys. You deserve it, and you'll get it if you get in front of an arbitrator. You don't want to play this negotiation. Now they're gonna come around and tell you they already told you. You're already uniform status. They already told you that. You're already uniform status. It didn't say uniform service. Uniform status, there's a difference. Uniform service is corrections, sanitation, fire department, and I believe NYPD. Now, you have a right, all uniform status gives you is a right to bargain for the things that the uniform services get for nothing. All right, the first group to ever get that was EMTs. They merged with fire department, the city gave them uniform status. How's that worked out for them? Nothing. You know why? Because anytime that they try to get what the uniform services get, they gotta buy it. So this 10.5% raise that you have, say you want clothing allowance, to get you up to $1,000, it probably costs you 3%. Well, 3% is gonna come off that 10.5% raise that you just got. Now you're down to 7.5%. But you'll have your clothing allowance because you was able to bargain for it. Or they're gonna go into your contract and say, well, we'll take 3 bereavement days from you, or we'll take 2 vacation days, that'll pay for it. Doesn't matter. Somewhere economically, they're gonna make you pay for something that you just got that you deserve. Line of duty. First of all, you can't bargain out line of duty. There's no cost. How can you make a cost on line of duty? And I'll be honest with y'all, if you was a union, and I came to you and I said, hey, you got a 9% raise coming up, but for 9% we'll give you line of duty, what would you do? You take it. Line of duty is more important than a 9% raise. But they're not going to offer that to you because they know you would take it. So there's no price on line of duty. That has to be, you have to fight to get that. And the only way to fight is you got to fight for it. Okay? And Local 237 is not going to fight for you. There's another reason why you're lost in it. They don't even need your vote. Even though you're 5,000 strong, they don't need your vote. The way the unions work in the city is, all you need is 1/3 of your union members to vote. And out of that 1/3, 50 plus 1. So if you have 20,000 people, you only need about 4,000, maybe 5, just to be safe. Let's take a quarter, 5,000 people to vote. And no one, they don't even, let me tell you something. They don't even have to send you the damn contract. They can send it to housing. And housing, 5,000 people vote for housing, 50 plus 1. And it'll be a legitimate vote. Okay? I know a lot of the officers, law enforcement officers, do not partake in what the union does. I know that, because I know Local 237's had a meeting where they get everybody down there, and they vote on shit. And they go, well, we have people there, you weren't there. Well, you weren't there. We don't do that. This is your union. DEP, this is their union. They came to every negotiation session. And I'm not talking about the negotiating committee. I'm talking about the members. When and if you come to leeba and we have to go to negotiation, you will have your negotiation unit in there with leeba. But if you decide you feel like coming down for the day, you're off and you want to come down, come on in. You got nothing to hide. We went to arbitration. Same thing. DP officers were there, off duty, just checking it out, seeing how the city works, how this works. And they were able to see how this is done. Because we got nothing to hide. We work for you, you don't work for us. You know? And I laugh because a lot of the things that Local 237 does is he thinks that you work for him. He had a meet and greet for the 919 people who's trying to leave his union. You would think he would go out to them? No, he said, I meet and greet, come to my building. Come on. In CUNY, same thing. Had a meeting for them and then wouldn't even come down and say hello to them. I'm the president of leeba, and let me tell you something. If I have to make 5,000 phone calls, I will make 5,000 phone calls. You call me, I will call you back. A lot of you here, if I reach out, I will call you back. May not get back to you that day, but I will get back to you. Email me, I'll get back to you. Because if your dues pay members, then you deserve that. Plus, you got to understand who Local 237 answers to, too. Excuse me. You do know that per capita, your dues goes up to the international, right? A lot of people don't know that, but it does, okay? AFL-CIO, you belong to them, and that's another thing, too. Whatever the international says, the local will do. So if the city of New York is pissed and telling you to take this contract, they'll call international and say, hey, what's the problem? Trust me, it's been done, okay? And I'll tell you how bad it is. We have Sands Casino in Bethlehem, right? Now, that's with the international too. They have the SEIU, whatever. Sands Casino sits right here. The Union Hall, the two big unions are right here. Literally, I kid you not, 2,000 yards away. That union building has never set foot in that casino. Meanwhile, Bethlehem, if you're all familiar with history, Bethlehem Steel Company used to be big. Bethlehem Steel Workers, whatever. We don't have the steel industry no more. So a lot of them work in the sands. All ex-union people who want a union have gone over to the building and asked them so many times, why don't you unionize us? So finally, leeba went in and we unionized the security officers. But while I was at it, I asked them, I said, how come you've never set foot inside that casino with 2,000 employees to have them unionized? And you know what he told me? The international told me don't go in there. And he wouldn't go in there. He wouldn't go in there. Because the international is going to tell you what to do. That's how they get their charter. leeba is independent. I know every phase of the job. Gregory got elected to president, and if he's smart, he learned everything. But I've talked to a lot of union presidents. I talked to one, and he was like, I don't know how benefits work. Excuse me? Come on. And history will tell you, too. Every group who's left their union makes more money. Every group. State corrections, when they left Council 82, they make more money. TBTA, when they left their union, they make more money. It's just the way it goes. When y'all leave, you'll be 5,000 strong. You will be the second largest uniform service. No, NYPD has more. But you would be able to slide right in there with them. And that's where you belong. And I don't want to hear that you're not cops. Because corrections aren't cops, they're peace officers. But they are. In sanitation, they're not even peace officers. They're civilians sitting in uniform services. So, what about you guys? Y'all don't think you're good enough for that? Let me tell you something. I asked a DHS sergeant, and I told her, I said, do you feel that your job is just as important as sanitation and corrections? And she paused. Well, her pause let me know what was going through her mindset. But you gotta believe your job is just as important in what you do. And it is. You deal with kids, you deal with gangs. Let me tell you something. Kids are so, and let me tell you something. You want to get in trouble? You'll always be, every time I turn around, y'all be belittled. You'll be shitted on, excuse my expression. Anything, because when something happens to a kid, first thing they want to do is attack you because it's a kid. All right? Recently, the kid that went out the exit door. It's the biggest thing. Yet still, y'all have to keep how many doors in here free to leave? You don't have enough officers to sit at every door. That's like securing a facility with 25 exits and entries, and you only got 12 people to do it. And then when somebody gets in or somebody gets out, it's your fault. There's no way.
What would you have done, Ken, in that situation as the president of the
Well,
union?
President of the Union, first of all, I would speak up. I would protect my members. No, it's not their fault. You know how many times, I read the newspapers, every time I turn around, y'all, every time something goes wrong, it's always your fault. The union don't step up for you. Should you had guns, you had that a long time ago. Line of duty, you had that a long time ago. You know how many schools across the country have people just coming and shooting up the place? You think it ain't gonna happen here? Oh, but let it happen? Oh, you'll see everybody running around. Oh, we should, no. And I don't care what anybody say here. Y'all not equipped to do your job. You need to have your own selves armed here, because when something happens, listen, I was a state trooper, and I rode the highways. You ever been upstate? It's dark. We ride by ourselves. So anything that was gonna happen, waiting for a police officer to come is like eternity. If somebody's shooting at you or kicking your ass and you waiting for another cop to back you up, it ain't gonna happen. Same thing here. If you wait for NYPD to get in here before something goes down, it ain't gonna happen. Same thing for TLC. When I say Local 237 is not equipped y'all to do your job, you're not equipped. I was at DHS. When they leave the homeless shelter, they ride the same bus that all the people in the homeless people work in. They gotta ride with. They've been assaulted. They've been attacked. Why? You know, I mean, in TLC, there's another thing. They don't even have powers. They pull people over. They ask for their license registration. People go like this. Seriously.
But they're told to pull people over.
That's their job.
They have to do it, and then when they do it, and the unions do it.
They've never had training for a car stop. Two most dangerous things as a cop, for me, was a car stop and executing a warrant. Okay? Because you never know what's going to happen. So, here you got TLC guys running around. Never took an EVOC course. They got to drive. They're driving a little Pierce, whatever that car is. And they've never been trained how to do a car stop. Come up on the car, make sure your body's bladed. They've never been taught this. They don't have a gun. You know, so when they ask for license registration, the people go like this, and 7 out of 10 of their arrests, NYPD always assists. So you know what happens with that? NYPD starts to resent them. And I mean, you know, think about it, honestly. If you have a job to do and every time you turn around, somebody's calling you to come do their job, you'd be pissed too. So now that's why you get this, they don't get along that well sometimes with NYPD, because NYPD is going, hey, listen, we can't keep doing your job. You know, but your union has to be proactive. Like I give you an example, the lieutenant got dragged. See, first thing we would have did, and I'm telling you right now, we would have sued the agency. Okay, because the agency put her out there and then equipped her to do her job. And that's a lawsuit. That'll get the attention. And some of these agencies are your worst nightmare anyway, you know. Just like now, just to show you how disrespected you are. This new deal with the uniform teachers, they get $7,500 to work in a bad location. Any of you getting $7,500 working in a bad location? No. No? I mean, think about, these are the things that you have to think about when Gregory's telling you this is the contract you're going to take. Hey, where's our $7,500? Because to me, that's discrimination. You have the same location, but only one group of people who come in here to teach should be extra money for hazardous pay, but y'all don't get it? And you got to protect them? Come on. But these are the things that I'm talking about listen, it's been a long time. Yeah, you know, and we can stay here for hours. You have to get on everybody, tell them to sign the cards. Put yourself in the at least to an election. That way you let Gregory know you don't control us. Right now, he can do whatever he wants to because he doesn't think you guys will get together and actually do this.
So the election we have right now, what's this election about? This election, what I was told was to vote for you guys as a union.
Good. DHS for you. You're a DHS.
Yeah.
Right. DHS, 919 people? Yes. That's an election. You've been granted that. And let me tell you something. The Office of Collective Bargaining did that. All right? You have no idea what leeba has tried to do what we're doing. For the last 30 years, and we have witnesses here, this has never happened before. No one came along and told unions, you have a choice. I went up to a CWA, I went up to a traffic cop. I said, how you like your union? It sucks. You ever think about leaving? No, we can't never leave. That's how he feels, that's how he thinks. Because he's been brainwashed, that I can never leave this union. leeba comes along, we're independent, we're not AFL-CIO, so we don't play by the little AFL-CIO rules, you know, which I'll tell you what it is, and it hurts you. This table's members,
Of different unions. You're in
different
one
unions.
AFL union, you're in another AFL.
You can't touch their members, and they can't touch your members. If you don't believe me, call up a union, any one of them, and say, help me, please, we just want to get the hell out of here. They'll tell you, sorry, we can't do that.
Can't take you over.
You have to be decertified. You have to do it yourself. And sit free for 1 year. Do you know what your job would do to you if you don't have a union for a year? I don't care how bad the union is if you don't have a union. So you're not going to do it. The city of New York says, for years, I've been fighting the city. For 10 years, they don't believe in fragmentation. Let me tell you what fragmentation is. The city rather deal with 35 groups all at once. So they don't have to deal with 35 individual groups. So a lot of people think, oh, the bigger the union, you know, Greg tells you we're a small union. The reason why we're able to do what we do is because we're a small union. You're nobody's in a 20,000 man union. And these are the things that AFL-CIO goes, okay. So now you got that little groundwork done. Now the city's telling you, you can't leave either. But what happened was, Local Law 56 came along. Your city council people decided that you are uniform services, uniform status, and you deserve to bargain for the things that the city used to tell you you couldn't do. If you don't believe me, you can ask any of your officers or whatever. Before this, you couldn't even go in and ask for a line of duty and all that stuff. You couldn't. They would just tell you, no, you got to take what civilians get. But council passed the rule. OCB sat on it for 8 years, and they finally made a decision, which led DHS. And let me tell you how that happened. They had 23 groups. There's 23 special patrol titles in the city of New York. The city wanted to make one big union with 23 titles. But what happened was all the unions sued. Oh my God, you can't take our members. So what the city did was, they met them halfway. We're going to put you in your own bargaining unit, but you can stay in your respective unions. And that's what they did. I think the only union that lost a group was, if I'm correct, was Forest Rangers, was moved with sanitation police. That was it. The only that suffered a loss, but they really didn't suffer a loss because they still stayed under DC 37. So it really wasn't a loss. And I guarantee you the union was compensated today. And that's another thing too. If you take each other's members, it's called rating. So if you took their members, they get to take anybody from you and you can't stop it. So that's why you would take their members. No matter how miserable they are, or how much better you can do for them, you'll be stuck there. Okay? Right now there's a change going on. No longer are you, how can I say it, judged or viewed or evaluated by your title. It's what you do. And what you do is police-like function. Okay? You have almost every power you can make. You can make arrests here or you can detain people here. You have peace officer status. You know, I heard the last thing going around, I don't know how true it is, but your union now wants to start calling you law enforcement officers instead of agents. Where they got that from? You're officers. You do law enforcement work. You make arrests. You do all that. Everything NYPD does. Except you do it inside the schools. Somewhere where they don't want to come in here. Alright? So, you guys just have to get together and be united. I mean, and this is all the groups. If you have any questions, I brought my pharmacist, I brought our annuity guy here. Because that's a question that, whether you vote for leeba or not, they need to know where your money is. Okay? He's gonna explain to you why you need to know where your money is and how it's supposed to be done, because they do this thing in the city, what they call commingling. You know, every DEP officer has their own individual account. You saw the statement, they can go online, they can move their money, they can actually take more money and put it in if they wanted to. It's their account. So every year, 1,000 and something goes in, they'll see it. Plus interest, they'll see it. They can move it around, they can watch it 24/7, but that's where their money is, okay? And you need to know, because if you ever leave this job, you need to be able to get your money. Now, there's another thing that happened, and I don't know, you probably don't even know, and some people may not care. But Local 237 was involved with, they filed a lawsuit against a real estate development firm down in Atlanta. Paperwork is there. Now, they were part of the lawsuit because the firm lost $48 million. How much of that money is Local 237? No one knows because they're not telling you.
Enough to make them file a lawsuit.
But it's enough for them to get part of the lawsuit to get that money back. They didn't ask you to take your money and put it into real estate development. Because the thing you can't do with your annuity fund, and there's people here who will attest to that, is your annuity fund has to stay liquid. Okay? You can't come to me and say, I'm retiring, and I go, okay, wait, we got to sell these 2 houses, and then we'll get you your money. You have to be able to get to it. Okay? So, you know, I find it strange that I go around to all these groups, and they have so many questions for leeba, which is, I don't mind. But none of you question your own unit. None of you. I bet you thought you had beautiful benefits before leeba came around. Your dental was only $1,500. You had to wait for a form. Come on, a form to go see your dentist. You're in pain, but you can't go to the dentist. That's what they're giving you. 33, let's go back to numbers, guys. $33 million a year, and that's the best he could do for you. Your life insurance policy was only $7,500. They just upped it to $10,500. But I give a $50,000 life insurance policy. Why? Because I choose to. If any of you ever here bought life insurance, you know what happens, right? Agent comes in, shows you what a $10,000 policy is going to cost, what a $15,000 policy is going to cost, and they tell you what a third. The higher you go, the more money you're going to pay. So you sit there and go, I look at it like this. City gives me the money for you, I'm going to give you the best benefits I can get you. Okay, that's it. We give Aetna, we have unlimited. We've had that from the beginning. We didn't change. Our prescription. TBTA has unlimited prescription plan. NYPD has almost 100,000. Y'all are 20,000 strong, and y'all have a $1,500 prescription plan? That means he's capping you and your family members. So if you remember, your kid reaches $1,500, you start paying for the medicine. Now I just told you other groups out there that have better. Why? Local 237 is one of the largest locals in the city of New York. And you'll have the worst benefits. They claim that they gave you a disability program. $250 every 2 weeks if you get hurt on the job. Or a week. But they set it up where you got to go through their own board to get reviewed. Then I hear that by the time you get there, you're back to work. So you don't get to utilize it, but it looks good on paper. Okay? They tell you about this educational plan. Educational plan for what? Who are you paying for educational plan? Everything what I'm talking about gets paid. You're supposed to have a whole floor dedicated to grievances. What grievances? Because let me tell you what grievances are for. They're not used for discipline. Grievances are for whenever there's contractual issues. How many of you have your grievances? You ever hear back from your grievances? No. They disappear when they hit Local 237. They're gone, poof, in the wind. These are the things that, I mean, you know, 20,000 members, he's had the money at his disposal. There's people here today that tell you, got $33 million coming in for the welfare fund. I'll let you know how it is. You got a retiree welfare fund, they get money for that too. They got an annuity fund. then they take money from that too. Okay? It's called administrative fees. Just so y'all know. Y'all can go, call them up and ask them. Call the city, they'll tell you. But he doesn't give you the benefits that you deserve. All right? He tells you you have line of duty, assault clause. Every single injury any of you had in here, I know it's been because you've been assaulted. How many of you exercise that assault clause? And I'll tell you why it's not exercised, because they don't do it right. If you get hurt at draw by a perk, you have to have that perk arrested. Charge him with assault before they can activate your assault clause. That's why it doesn't kick in. It doesn't kick in. Because you know what they're going to say? I wasn't charged with assault. So how did I assault it? How many times your job told you to write up as an incident? Should be write up as an assault. If somebody punches you in your face, call NYPD, you come here, you make a report, I'm arresting that guy for assault. That's the way it's supposed to be. Not an incident that a kid punched me in my face while I was working. That's not how you work. Okay, Virginia's not going to tell you this because that means more money for them. Every discipline procedure that leeba has, we have an attorney there. You call DP and ask them, they will tell you that. Every time they get in trouble, every time they got to go before DP, there's an attorney sitting there. Why? Because our attorney will start talking things like this. Well, you know you violated their due process there, right? You know that could be a civil lawsuit, right? And they back down. This job here, they run all over you. I've been to some hearings. Trust me, just because I don't represent anybody here, I've represented some health and hospital police already, CUNY police already. Here, school safety, I've had some reports here. The things they write you up for, and the investigations that go on, it's ridiculous. Your business agent's sitting there going, listen, take the deal, it's in the best interest. Be happy you have a job.
Take one for the
Okay?
team.
You're not getting paid as it is, and he wants you to lose a week of your work, or 30 days, or 45 days. I had two people, they were trying to bring them on charges 2 years later. First of all, civil service law says you can't be written up after 18 months. Administrative, you just can't. It's impossible. That's why you have attorneys sitting there going, you know you ain't supposed to do that. When we took over for DP, just like that, all write-ups just escalated, quadruple. But then when they found out that we had an attorney there every time, and we started fighting, we started winning, we started going to oath, there's no discipline problem at DP. And when they actually bring up a member on charges now, you know what they do? They call me first. Well, you know, Kenny, you know I said, listen, do what you got to do, and I'll do what I got to do. Okay? But once you show them that you can fight, and let me tell you something. The city does not want to fight neither. Every time I would file to go to oath, they'd have to call New York City, and New York City's attorneys would have to go to work. And New York City attorneys don't want to go to work. They hated it. Left Rack, DEP's headquarters. Every time I had to go to a hearing and I didn't take the charges at ground level, they have to come and fight. And they was pissed. They even told us, they go, why are you doing this? Until you stop, we'll stop. I understand people do things wrong, but when they do, and then when you have to start setting this precedence, okay? Can't have somebody in another school lose 1 day for, let's say, lose their ID. And you got somebody here lose 15 days for losing their ID. It's not right. Okay? It's called, and that's what oath gives you, believe it or not. But you don't have oath. You have oath, but you don't have a progressive discipline. You have no discipline section in your contract. And what I mean by that is, DP has a progressive discipline. I give you a warning, don't do it again. Oh, you did it again. Now I'm writing you up. That's progressive discipline. Okay? And it has to be for the same thing. So if you come in late, I give you a warning, and then tomorrow you do something else, I gotta give you a warning. The whole thing starts all over you. Go progressive. That's what NYPD has, and that's what they enjoy. And these are the things that you guys deserve too. But he's never instituted a discipline program. So what he does is he puts you at the mercy of the Board of Ed, who do a completely different job than you. There's nothing in their books that cover the things that you would have to deal with. Okay? So these are the things that, I give you example one for here. They make you go with the, they force you to give a note every time you go to the doctor. Civil service law says 3 days. 3 days. And let me tell you how asinine that is. You're home, you got diarrhea. You know what's wrong with you. So your job is telling you, you have to get up, go to the doctors. Now, we all have kids here. Or yourself. How many times do you think you can get a doctor's appointment on the same day? Almost impossible. So if you can't do that, urgent care or the emergency room. So now you spend what, $200, $250 so you can go get a doctor's note, to appease your job when the law says you can stay out to 3 days without bringing in a doctor's note? Right. But who's fighting for it? Your union. Let me tell you what I did with DP when they started that. And he'll tell you, you know what I told him? Bring him up on charges. So let me tell you what DP did, because they slipped. Well, we're not going to write you up. What we're going to do now is we're going to do a point system. So the first time you come in without a doctor's note, you get 3 points. Next time you come in, you get 5 points. If you take it, if you bang in sick before your RDOs, you're going to get 7 points. And when you reach this certain points, we're going to bring you up on charges. So I told all our members, don't bring in no notes. Tell them to go screw themselves. And I'm waiting. We have members that's already passed the amount, and they're still paying. Because I'm waiting for the first one from they can literally bring up on charges. What they're saying to you is, these are sick days that you earn, okay? And they're telling you when and when you can use them. That's what they're doing. And for DP, in this case, is they're actually disciplining you now for calling in sick. And why should you go to the doctor? Do you know what DP says to me? Well, the doctor will give them a note. So if I see a doctor on a Thursday, but I was sick on Monday, I'm not going to be a doctor and write a note for somebody I didn't see on Monday. DP was willing to, we'll take that. No, you won't. No, you won't. It's all about fighting. Once you put them in a place and they know, listen, it's like a schoolyard bully. Once he knows whether you win the fight or not, but he knows that you're willing to fight, he'll start fighting you. Out of respect. Out of respect. And that's what you guys need here. And you know what? They don't respect you. Y'all know that. I've heard stories. Come in, principal tell you park their car. Say, I ain't gonna tolerate that. So I'll be on the phone call, the principal said, do you park anybody's car? No, I'm serious, they're officers. You don't ask them to do, that's not their job title. That's another thing too. They ask you to do things that's outside of your job description. First of all, we already know that you're the customer service here, you're the valet service here, you wait on everybody, and then you're supposed to protect everybody. That's not your job. Some of it is, some of it's not. But that's because they don't respect you. I wish one of them would tell the NYPD to go park my car. But you have to have a mindset. And what we're trying to do is make this job, some of you like this job. Why did this have to be a stopgap? How many people come here and leave? Because they're not getting paid. But they like the job, but they got to take care of their family. We want to make sure that you like your job and you get paid, and you should. Because what you do for these kids, let me tell you something. We had a gala, all agencies came, had a couple politicians there. And see, that's how you work it. You use politicians, because you know what? First thing he said was, I applaud school safety because my kids go to their schools. Simple as that. And that's another thing too that leeba will have you do, because we're having DP do it too, is you all be a registered voter. Whether you vote or not, I'm not telling you have to vote, I'm not telling you who to vote for. But when you're a registered voter, as a union president, and you go to these politicians, and you say, I got these many people registered voters in your district, I need your help. If you don't help me, we'll remember that next time you want to get elected. That's how it works, people. That's how it works. Okay? Gregory Floyd tells you, oh, we got political this, we got political that, we got this and that. It ain't helping you. Housing's always in the paper. Okay, I grew up in housing. Grew up in the projects. They make more money than you. Maintenance, floor cleaners. Why? They're 15,000 strong. Who keeps them in power? They do. They keep them in power. As long as he's doing for them, and he only needs 1/3 of the votes, he'll always get it. He'll last election. Don't get me wrong. Some of you really hate him, but no one voted. No one voted. He had 6,000, 7,000 people out of 20,000 people voted. And everybody go, oh, listen, in the Constitution of the United States, there's 3 words in it, the most important. We the people. Okay? We the people. You control the power. You have it right here. If leeba takes over, trust me, there's all kinds of games we can play to make people respect you. Okay? That's what corrections did. As a trooper, when corrections did, they slow down. And I had to go pick up a prisoner. That was a whole day. That took me off my job for a whole day because they followed the book. City gave in and gave them what they wanted. Sanitation. They didn't strike. They just did their job correctly. The garbage can wasn't on his lawn. It wasn't all beat up. They were literally making sure that their truck was inspected right. If it wasn't inspected right, they couldn't go on the road. They would call dispatch and said, according to the contract, if it's not working right, I can't go out there and do my job. They get to your house, no more, you know how they do it, it was sit it down nicely. By the time they were finished, they weren't finishing their routes. So guess what was happening? Garbage was piling up. And then the city says, well, you know, you guys are employed to make them part of uniform services. Don't get me wrong. They do their job. But they're not cops neither. How many times has Local 237 told you you're not cops? I tell you that all the time. You don't need line of duty. Why not? You seen some of these kids, they're bigger than me. You got the gangs, you got the parents, you got everybody. Then you got the teachers sometimes. They're gonna take care of this, they're gonna take care of them. Now the Board of Ed can pay these teachers $90,000 to $100,000 a year, and they can't pay you. 100-something thousand teachers, there's only 5,000 a year. It's all about getting the respect that you want and what you want to do. You know, and I can only assist and give you that way out. Listen, let me tell you something. The worst that can happen, you leave leeba. There's no one protecting us if you come in. You don't like what we do? Walk out the door. You go back to Local 237. I'm quite sure they'll take your 5,000 times 1640, $33 million. They'll take it right back. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. That's why they're around here talking to you, bullying you, scaring you. We're not going to do that. All we're going to tell you is make a decision. We're trying to give you all the facts so that you're not lied to. Because I would be upset if I made a decision based on lies. You know, and we're not asking you to come out. Only come if you're willing to come. Let me tell you something. When we went to DP, it was so bad. We didn't have any benefits. We were new. But I promise them this much. You will be our sole attention. And they got it. And they got what they wanted. And you'll be our sole attention when you come out. You're in your own bargaining unit. Because the first thing we're going to do is say no to the city of New York. You can go to arbitration. That's the first place you're going to. Tell you right now. I'm not going to sit down and bargain with the city because they're not going to offer you nothing. They're going to offer you what you just got right now. 00111, $1,000 per ratification. Boom. Just like UFT. You're not going to get no more than that. You might not even get that. Because usually UFT and NYPD get the most. So you don't even know, you might come in lower. So, but they didn't come and ask you what you want. They don't care. Listen, let me tell you something. You gotta think of it as human nature. You all have kids. You let your kid get away and do whatever you want. You can't control him. But he feels like this. As long as y'all can't unite, he's winning. He's winning. He can treat you whatever way you want. And as long, I mean, some of the things he said to y'all, like, I have to laugh. $1,500 for DP. He said that leeba, you had to pay $1,500 out of your pocket before your pharmacy kicked in. Now, I have to laugh at that because I would want y'all to kick my ass if I came to you and tell me join my union, but you got to pay $1,500 out of your pocket for your prescription plan. It's ridiculous. But you know what though? There's people who don't know, and that's why I'm trying to let y'all know how it works. The money will always be there, unless the union is not spending it properly. That's the bottom line. So, out of 5,000 times 1640, you're looking at about $2-something million a year. All that money that's going to Local 237 will switch over to leeba. Except you will get leaba's benefits, which is much better. Because all that money, we're spending most of it. Put it this way, I give you $100, and I give you $100. And I'll tell you both go to the store, and I tell you get me these same items. But you come back with, you went to No Frills, or you went to the dollar store, and you went and got the stuff that's going to last longer. That's basically what it is. And you know what? And the bad part about it is there's no guidelines in the city of New York for that. All the union has to do is offer you benefits. You know, they don't care about the quality. Just offer it. DEP's dental, you thought yours was bad with the form? Theirs was you had to go to the dentist, pay out of your pocket, file a reimbursement, which took 30 to 60 days before they even call you back. And then you only had one root canal for your whole life. No, seriously, I mean, it was so bad that no one used it. Well, guess what? If he doesn't have to pay out for dental, that's money he keeps in his pocket. Because every month it starts over again. Okay, so if you have 20,000 people times 1,600, that's 20 what, 200 some $1,000 or more than that. Every month, he gets the same amount of check next month. So if he only uses 10% of that money, he kept 90% of it. In the same way. But yet still, this is the thing that you have to realize. And as people here will attest to that. 20 years ago, not 20, 13 years ago when Carl Haynes was still here, your welfare fund was the richest and most abundant in the city of New York. You had so much money in your welfare fund that the city was trying to cut off from giving it to you. And the reason why that is they feel, well, we're giving you all this money, so you're not fucking using it. Why are we gonna give you more? No, seriously. And they ordered them and everything, you know. Now, that's not like that no more. You know? I mean, I've done your math. Think about it.